Anticipate because we have done that never before. Like that?
Welcome. In today's episode, we're making a big announcement, and we also show you how to use an easy post to either repair or install a mailbox in your property. Easy posts are not the cheapest option, but I believe the best option for DIYers, as it requires a minimum amount of tools and you can easily do it in just a few minutes. So stick around.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to another very special episode of the Urban Homesteading channel with Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY behind the camera, and Grandpa DIY somewhere around the house. Behind me, you see playing the first episode we shot 4 years ago in this homestead, right? And it is the feature wall that we built as our very first project in this house. So today, with mixed emotions, we're shooting our last video in the homestead. Because we're selling the homestead, we're purchasing a different house in a more traditional neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. Here in North Carolina, we're not leaving North Carolina. And we're going to take you along with that on that trip, and we will continue making videos. Right, Mrs. DIY?
We will. We love making videos for all of you.
So stick around. You are our favorite viewer, and this is going to be a very good video. Of course, when you're selling a house or any property, you have to finish all those million of little projects that you have not finished, right, Mrs. DIY?
Right.
And one of the projects we haven't finished was in the office, the closet office we built a few years ago now, right?
Right.
We have one piece of wood that we never painted, and you're looking at it. It's right here, right?
It's a shelf.
It's a shelf, and they're all white except this one that is not.
Yep.
So today, this is not the project, by the way, but today we're going to paint this so we have it finished for the new owner. But that's one of our discoveries as we're selling the property, right? And we knew that, but because that's not something you do very routinely, we forgot that there are a million little projects as we're packing and doing things that we find we have not finished. And this is just one of them. And while we're letting this dry, because paint it has to dry before you touch it, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to go and start our project for today, so stick around. So this is going to be our project for today. This mailbox has given us grief for almost 4 years, right? Trucks that deliver, this is a cul-de-sac, and trucks that deliver things, the trash collection people, the recycling people, and our mail person love knocking this mailbox down. It has been knocked down 5-6 times now, right?
At least, yeah.
So our last attempt at fixing it kind of worked until the last time it was knocked off, but it is very unsightly. And since we are selling the house, unsightly will not do. So we need to make it sightly.
So you can see where it was stable here, and then apparently somebody hit it again.
Yep.
And it's had to be kind of propped back up, and it's kind of the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
All right, so stick around. We'll show you all the fun. So the very exciting process of throwing things away, right? And Mrs. DIY is having fun.
I wouldn't call it that.
So that was a pretty big hit because you're having a hard time getting this out.
Yeah.
Wow, I took the wood with it.
Oh, sorry. Didn't realize your foot was under the bag.
Well, my leg is behind it.
All right, all right.
So testimony of the strength of the foam though. Not only it is hard to get off, but it is really stuck to the cement, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we give a thumbs of approval to the foam product.
Yeah, well,
And we didn't do it quite right, actually, you know.
except for, what it left when we were finished. That was unexpected. But yeah, it did hold for a while.
Until
Well,
another vehicle hit
And you're supposed to save it, actually. You're supposed to use a saw and
and shave it and
Yeah.
we just never
Which we
got
didn't.
around to.
Do you want the crowbar or something to remove that? The latest technology on digging here, or bending our shovel, you know, either way.
It looks like there's an ant house maybe there, so just be careful.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
I think we can leave that there and just go inside.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is bigger than originally
Yeah.
thought. The first pieces were not that.
They were pretty big actually. Look at the size of this boulder there. They're pretty big. All right, we are going to take a road trip and we'll be back with you.
So we decided to go with this device. It's called an easy spike, and ugh.
Ew, gross. Mosquito blood.
Someone needs to tell the mosquitoes that this is not their time. And the easy spike should be the easiest way we
Well,
hope to do this.
We have known things to be labeled easy that turn out to be
Not
you know,
easy.
not living up to their namesake. So we will have to test this out and see.
Okay. So the whole idea, because this is, we're going to put it in the ground and then we're going to put a scrap and we're going to use our heaviest and best sledgehammers to hammer it in.
All right.
All right, let's give it a go.
This is not difficult, but it is time consuming, especially when you don't have a big sledgehammer. Our biggest one was only 4 pounds, and really you need a 10-pounder or bigger for something like this. But since we only had one, this was sufficient for our project, but a bigger one would have made it even faster. This was a very easy, very beginner project.
Okay. Do not hit the machine because you're going to chip the paint off and you will lose the protection against rust, right?
and potentially bend it all to
Right.
kingdom come, which means the post won't fit in there. So that's
So-
why we're using the scrap post.
So we're going to finish that and we'll be right with you. I'll
We'll
let
finish.
you do it.
Call a friend? Is that a call a friend kind of situation?
AKA the shelf.
I don't know what the
I
self
know.
is.
But we do.
We
But
do.
we do. But this is definitely a phone a friend situation. It goes faster. Woo! Didn't hit it.
And really we needed a little heavier of a sledgehammer, but that's all we have. That's what we're using, right?
Yep.
It's working. Just a little slower, maybe.
But you can see the damage that's happening to the top of our scrap. So that's indicative of why you want to have that scrap.
Right.
How much further?
I think we didn't anticipate, because we have done that never before, like that, was that removing the scrap was not the easiest thing, right?
Right. It was really tight in there after we put all that pressure
And you
on
can
it.
see here it makes a nice, which probably helps it to be held there as well, even though we're going to put screws.
Right.
So our next step will be to use the actual post and put it in.
Yep.
This is probably not necessary in every application, but because we used different methods before, we have to clean our post. If this is a brand new installation, you will not have to do this step, correct?
Right.
So more testimony to the foam. It is so nicely attached to the post that we have to chisel it out, right? So I will use this material again, especially if you have more careful drivers, delivery drivers in your area. Right? I mean, I don't think the problem was the foam.
No.
And clearly, having to chisel it from the wood, the bottom of the wood, is a good sign how well it adheres, right?
Yeah. And it really was quite firmly in place until yet another truck hit it. So.
Right, it lasted many, I know weeks if not months. And now the moment of truth. Watch your fingers there. It has to be perfectly straight.
Yes. And it's completely aligned.
All right, hold on. And what are you doing now, Mrs. DIY?
I am filling in the space around where the old base was, so that it looks a little bit more part of the landscape and not.
A little more better?
Yeah.
And the lights are installed now.
The lights then. And we built this, if you guys remember. For those of you that have been watching the channel for a long time, the first time that I knocked the mailbox off, we decided to improve it.
Actually, I don't think it was quite the first time, but it was one of the times.
I think we wanted to improve it anyway when we first moved in, because we wanted a little more of a designer type mailbox post. Kind of an aesthetic thing that we wanted, and we still really like the design. But
And now that we're moving out,
now it's
probably
sturdier.
we have the best,
yeah.
the best strength out of it. While the installation is done, some beautification has to happen, right, Mrs. DIY?
Yep.
This is a very secure connection, and what do you guys think? This is the first time we used it. How would you rate it?
Should have done it a long time ago.
Yep.
You like it, Mrs. DIY?
I do.
I am considering this for the new property if we decide to do fences ourselves. That would be a great way to do it. So we don't have to spend thousands of dollars to hire someone to put our fence, but I don't know.
Or break ourselves trying to dig
Right.
posts, right?
we'll probably buy a bigger hammer, you know.
You're gonna need a bigger hammer.
I will need a bigger hammer. All right, so Mrs. DIY is going to finish this. So friends, this is our finished repair. This is very, very sturdy. In fact, even better than I was hoping, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's very
and
solid.
it became sturdy. We were probably only about 1/3 in when you couldn't move the spike anymore. We are confident it will last a long time and it will serve the new owners very, very well. And we're happy with this. It definitely makes a nicer statement when you get into the property than a simple box.
Oh yeah.
What was the hardest part of it? Going to the store and buying it. Really, this
Probably.
was not a hard process, right?
No, it wasn't.
Mrs. DIY?
No, it was just a little put your back into it with the sledge
Well-
hammers, but
Our biggest sledgehammer was only 4 pounds. You need a
Yeah.
15-pounder for this to do it quickly.
But we did it quickly. Teamwork.
I mean, if you do like 15 of those, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you need more than one, you need a better hammer. So
Yeah, but for this application,
yeah, this worked for us with our two
two
hammers.
worked. Yep.
I don't know how big the red one is,
I think
but,
it's only a couple.
but the blue one is 4 pounds, and really you need something like that. A normal hammer will not do it, right?
Right.
all right, well, you know, this is one of those things you kind of have to do when you're selling a house. You have to give everything a nice, shiny new coat of paint. So this is one of the last acts of love that I'm taking on for this home, which we have so enjoyed. It's been an adventure, and we're going to continue this kind of work and share all of our adventures with you in the new house. So a heartfelt thank you to all of our viewers who have enjoyed watching us in our antics and our projects, and hopefully you've learned something and you'll come back when we have some new scenery for you in the background.
So we have mixed emotions about this, right? This is the last time we're going to film in this location. And as you can see, we had a wonderful, wonderful piece of land. We have 2 acres here. And we enjoy, it's a different lifestyle in the woods, and we hope the new owners will appreciate this as much as we did.
And it will not be true if I say I don't have a little bit of trepidation moving out of this beautiful space, but there were downsides. Most everything was away, right? Nothing was close by. When you go to Walmart, it was a trip, 20-30 minutes each way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you like nature, this is hard to beat. What do you think, Mrs. Elpida?
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful, but being one of the people that the bugs like a lot, that's been a challenge for me to come out here and actually enjoy it, because I get, attacked every time I step out the door,
Yep.
regardless of my efforts.
So, we're going to close this short episode. We are going to join you again in our new location next week. So as you can imagine, this week is going to be very busy with moving and closing on properties.
And finishing
Technically-
packing.
Technically, this is still ours. We haven't closed on it, but we have a new property, and we're supposed to close midweek on both of them. So if everything goes as planned, we will see you next week from our new homestead. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, let's build something together. Puppies. Because who doesn't like puppies, right?